Hello ratbags, it's Jade PLAYSGAMES. Welcome back to another ARK Survival Evolved news video. I uploaded a video in the early hours of this morning telling you guys the PC update with loads of bug fixes was coming. Now they had some issues that's been running later and later and later, and it looks like it's finally going to be available in the next couple of hours. So by 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock PM UK time it should be here, and that'll probably be about 8 or 9 o'clock Eastern time. And there's nothing else but this patch notes coming through, guys, but I absolutely wanted to show you the biggest patch notes for bug fixes I've ever seen. So Jen has put up the patch notes. Thank you, Jen, doing that early ahead of time, and the patch should be coming in 259. Now look at this, guys, just look how many bug fixes there are. That is so crazy. I've never seen so many. So do I go through all of them? Probably not. I will leave the link down below, you can check them out for yourself, but I am going to pick out some of the ones that I think are pretty crucial or I think are interesting. So the Tech Tapiara saddle is here. I told you guys about that the other day, showing you the picture of it. Now Jeremy did kind of relate and say there was other goodies coming too. It doesn't look like there's any other saddles at the moment, but I can bet you they're going to be adding a lot more to it since they've started releasing this one. The new skill crafting has been explained a little bit more too. Crafting skill replaces crafting speed. Crafting skill increases crafted item quality by 33% for 100 points into crafting skill. Now that seems like quite a lot, but that's probably what, 10 points? If it goes up by 10 points every time. The item then displays your name and your tribe name and indicates what percent bonus you receive when crafting. So that's really cool. That's almost like Skyrim when you'd get better and you would make better weapons. Each proficiency you got in each level you got, your weapons got a little bit better. So the fact that you can improve it by 33% for 100 points is fantastic. So this really starts opening up possibilities that you will be able to make mastercraft and maybe, you know, ascendant items eventually. Obviously it would mean probably putting nearly all your points into your character for crafting speed to be able to do that. But in a big tribe way, or if you're doing a roleplay sort of server, you could definitely have someone being a blacksmith. Their job simply is just to craft the best weapons and best items you can get in the game. And this one, I can't wait for this one. Man, at times I've spent in video, in a let's play, looking for my bloody corpse or bag. Upon death, a beam of light shoots into the sky to help the player locate where they died. Enabled on official servers by default. Yes! Now, the only issue I've got with that is, will it be seen by other players? It doesn't mention that. Can you imagine if you get killed and then there's a beacon of light that shows your bag to everyone on the map? So again, we'll have to see what it plays out. I think that'd be quite interesting. I think they should do that. And finally, guys, finally, this is the most exciting one that I've just read. I can't believe it. Disable structure placement collision. Unofficial servers and single players can enable this feature to allow them to place structures that clip in terrain. Forget S+, you won't need S+ anymore, guys. This pretty much is S+. If you don't know what S+ is, it just allows you to build building parts into terrain. So it doesn't clip, it doesn't get blocked. It does have lots more uses, to be fair, on the mod. The mod does do a lot more than that. But its main thing, the main reason it's so popular is the fact that you can actually put it in certain terrain areas and you won't have that horrible red square pop up. I can't believe they've finally done it. It's only taken like nearly, what, 2 years since it came out of people asking to do it. Obviously it's not going to be on official servers, it's only going to be an option for unofficial and single players, but that's good enough for me. Got a new one here as well, new host option, use single player settings. When enabled, this edits all game settings to be more balanced for an individual player. So that to me says maybe if you've got other people on your server, they will have different settings. That would be interesting. So I have been planning to redo my almost famous tutorials on all the settings, guys. I've done it like up to, I've done 5 videos on it now. Each time we've had a major update on it, I've been one of the first people to let you guys know what's going on with them. But I have held off because I knew there was some other stuff coming to the actual changes. So as soon as this comes up and as soon as I can show you some of these changes, I'm going to do one final server settings tutorial. New host option, fast decay. Enable this option for a fixed constant decay period for fast decay structures such as pillars or lone foundations. If you don't know about this, they've implemented the fact that pillars will now decay. So there's no more just grabbing land all over the place. Now I know some of you reckon it's there to protect certain spots that get eaten up by tribes, to stop other people from getting at resources, but it does certainly mean we will have better options in terms of where you can build your bases and not have people just grabbing up land and not doing anything with it. By look at this option, it means it's gonna actually change that, so it'll be a standard decay time. But again, it looks like it's only on the host option. We've got new kill, death, speech and talking icons. They've finally fixed the mad plants that grow 100 feet tall. They've fixed the ragdolls becoming just Mr. Stretchy Armstrong when falling from great heights or being dragged. No more players getting stuck in rocks or trees when logging out in single player. Fixed dino spawning issues in single player that caused overspawning of certain creatures over time, an issue where spawns were becoming depopulated. Fixed single player settings via the slider from resetting. That is a good one. Loads of times whenever I've hosted a server, sometimes you think you've got your settings perfect and then you realise it's been reset every time you've logged out. They've fixed the baby cuddle interval multiplier setting via the host menu. That is fantastic, guys. That is one of the biggest ones that you guys have been asking me to do a tutorial for, and to be honest, I have had the footage for a week or so, but again, I knew that they would be looking at it, so I didn't really want to just put a tutorial out if it was only going to benefit people for like half a week or 2 weeks. So as soon as that is implemented, I'll take that a look at that and see if it's actually properly fixed. I'll also show you the menu option for it as well. A few graphical improvements, nothing too special to shout out about. Improved war paint on female model around the hairline. What hairline? Fixed the issue where logging out in single player while holding a shield showed the player holding 2 shields on relog. That was a major one, that pissed me off. Fixed dossier sorting, yes. If you don't know, that has been broken since a long time. No matter how many times you press it, it never really seems to group them all properly. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Now, I do believe Missy sent me a screenshot of this or video of this, a grappling hook being enlarged when shooting at a large storage box. So that's been fixed now. Colorized boss health bars to indicate boss difficulty. You can set the light level of their lamps now, that's pretty cool. Added on-screen indicator icon when structure placement is in rotation mode. Yes, no more looking at it and wondering if you can turn it around. Oh no, they've fixed the glitch where the cooking pot provided infinite dye. So if you want to get some dye and you're desperate, go and make it now, get them resources done and dusted before this update hits console tomorrow. Buffs that prevent firing, such as the shock buff, now cause the player to lower their weapon. Made alt fire on the paintbrush, now paint yourself. We don't know how that's going to relate to console, we'll have to wait for that one. We've got brand new music that was recorded at proper like orchestral. That's going to be in the game soon. Fixed issue in single player where logging out with a tool quick caused the infantry to lock up. That's a good one as well. They've added a little melody every time you tame a creature. That should be interesting. And yes, finally it makes sense. The obelisks are going to be certain bosses. If you've ever wondered about them, when you look at the obelisks, where they're placed on the map, you've got one in a deep snow, you've got one kind of close to a jungle, and you've got one kind of just in a normal sort of area. And with their colours green, red and blue, it's always been a bit odd that you can just go to any boss. I always thought it would be better to have the Megapithecus at the blue ob because it was snowy and cold. And then obviously have the Broodmother maybe at the one that's near the swamp, and then obviously lastly have the dragon at that one. So that looks like it's going to be the case. You won't be able to spawn every boss at every obelisk now, you have to do it that way. Oh, this is a big one though. People are going to be upset about this. Transfers can only be done via the obelisk. Now they opened that up so that drops could be done for it, but obviously with the implementation of the tech tier transmitter, it's kind of made that redundant, I guess. But for a lot of people that still might be causing a problem. Correct me if I'm wrong on that though, I'm sure you can do it at any supply drop you can transfer. Days are now 25% longer, nighttime remains unchanged. Yes, no more setting more settings, no more changing them I mean. Tech rifles now stop working in thunderstorms, what the hell? Mind wipe tonic can now only be applied once per level up. So I guess that stopped people from infinitely changing their, stats once they get to 100. Going to get a stat decrease of blueprints from fishing. I guess people have been getting too much magical loot. They've changed what kind of bait you use in terms of actually what size fish you get. And again, they've basically nerfed the fishing rod. They've increased the loot quality of the Leopleurodon. ATV engram is available in single player after reaching max ascension. So it's there if you want it, only in single player by the looks of things, where you can just muck around in the little ATV, you can build it yourself. They've removed the boss arena and tech cave timers in non-dedicated. That is crazy. So you won't have a countdown anymore, you can basically take your time. So I guess that's for people who maybe really only play on their own or just maybe one other friend. They've already nerfed the bosses. The bosses in single player are already easier to defeat. But that seems a bit excessive. I think people like the challenge of trying to take them on within a certain amount of time. PvE no build functionality has been removed from non-deady. They've increased the difficulty of the Cavern of Lost Faith. They've finished the loot crate stats in terms of what you get, so there'll be no more variables jumping up all left, right and centre. They've added more resources to all the caves. And they've put even more metal back on the volcano. If you don't know, the Ascension cave basically took over that area, so lost a lot of resources. A lot of you guys were complaining about that, but it looks like they've added it back. Added categories for maps in the host menu. No idea what that one is. Added an alternate engram points per level array to non-deady. So that sounds like you can choose what level certain engrams unlock and how many points it's actually going to cost. They've nerfed mutton. For ages now, if mutton was becoming easier to actually feed dinosaurs or carnivores than actually making kibble. But it looks like the effectiveness of that has actually been reduced. They've changed the speed gained per player level up. They've made the house buff double. I didn't even know that was a thing. Obelisks now save inventory in single player. And for PvPers, you're going to have to get a brand new weapon and think of a brand new way to do things. Your lives are going to change forever. They've reduced the club effectiveness scaling with quality by 55%. So no matter how much your armour was, you could always just get taken down with someone with a club. So it looks like that's going to be changed depending on the quality of the club. Lots of issues with dinos running around sort of in the wrong direction or not behaving how they should be. Rebalance speed gained per level up on all dinos. Oh, I hope that means they've increased it slightly. And the one I told you about last night to fix the actual exploit where fix the issue where babies were consuming more food than intended as they tried to regain health. Regaining health no longer costs food for babies. And they've fixed the issue, that is the actual nerf, that babies were consuming less food than floating. Oh no, they've changed all creature names to use their long proper names. That sucks. They've made Troodons scared of light sources. Get in. A torch is going to be your best friend forever now. They've raised the Pteranodon saddle to 38. No! It opens up the map so well when you get to that level to finally get a saddle. Now it's going to be level 38. They've made the Tricon Stego, which makes them more resistant to damage. That's good because they definitely needed some TLC. Increased the Parasaur stamina by 50%. That's great. Decreased the amount of full damage for tame gigas, so no more enraging your gigas if you fall off a ledge as much. They've made Mosh Chops easier to tame. I didn't even know they were hard. They've made the Demotrodon better for insulation. They've changed the gathering rates to the Ferrozino. Reduced base damage of wild and tamed gigas. Oh, that's going to go down badly. They've already nerfed that. That was nerfed last year. But it does mean, I think, lots of the big complaints were that a giga, when it was wild, was absolutely brutal. And then when you tamed it, it didn't do nowhere near the amount of damage that a wild one did. So it does look maybe they're in balance with each other a little bit more now. Creatures will no longer drown when they're too heavy. Yes, they've taken away some of the terror bird spawns in the redwoods. And they've taken away the spawning of the Titanosaur on Herbivore Island. Ichthyornis HP reduced by 50%. They must have been some flying tank birds. They've added some bunch of notifications for the smaller ones to see whether or not they're stealing or doing anything to you. There's a 30-second cooldown on Pego stealing from you anymore. Yes. Yes, they've fixed Hyaenodon. If anyone's tamed any of them beautiful small little creatures, you'll know it took forever. No matter how much you mucked around with the settings, you can see it in my Let's Play. So now it actually scales properly with the taming server. Thank God, I'm going to go and get my pack of hyenas. Lots of fixes to the dinos, how they sound and the animations. No more Pteranodons just staying in the sky or not landing properly or RGs. Now they will actually auto-land. Bunch of fixes to the Griffin, which is understandable as it's only just been added. So crazy stuff, guys. Honestly, I've never seen such a big list of improvements. Maybe their very first early patch notes that were just only on Steam used to be filled with stuff like this. Some of that stuff is fantastic. Some of it might piss you off. But at least it's been balanced. It's finally been optimised. All the shitty things we've had to deal with is finally coming through. Honestly guys, that is fantastic stuff. I hope you're all okay with that. I probably left out a few there, but nothing major. I mean, go and check it out for yourself. Some of them might be more important to you obviously than me, but they're the most important ones that for me as a gamer, as me that plays ARK, they're the ones that might affect me, or I know they affect you. Just because I don't necessarily do things, it doesn't mean I don't understand. Obviously I live ARK, guys. You don't understand how much I actually live ARK. Every tweet the developers do, from all the comments that you guys put on my videos, I get so many more in terms of the questions because you guys come to me for answers. Because of all the tutorials, all the news I've done. So when people say, oh, you don't know nothing about official because you've never played it long enough, I can confidently come back and say, bollocks, I know plenty about official. Just because I don't play it regularly doesn't mean I don't understand from the way I get feedback from people and the way that you guys let me know what's going on. If you have got any questions, any ideas, any problems or issues, make sure you leave them on the comments on the video and maybe join my Discord as well. We've got a specialist section in my Discord for questions and answers if you need any help with anything, and if I can't help you then other members of Discord, the admin team, will. So there we go, big fixes incoming. Now this is meant to come to console tomorrow. This is what Jeremy the creator said the other day. Now I'm pretty sure he's probably meant it's gone into certification tomorrow, just like they normally always do. And since there's been a problem with the PC update, I really don't think it's going to happen tomorrow. I reckon it'll probably be Monday or Tuesday next week before we actually see this update with all them bug fixes. As ever, I'll be the first person to tell you when it's live, when it's ready to go on console. I'm JPlaysGames and thank you for the support guys. We're nearly at 28,000 subscribers now. Keep up sharing my videos, help me out guys, and let's see if we get to 30,000 by the end of July. Until next time, bye bye.